Hey there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. Welcome to another episode of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. AfterBuzz After Show. Tonight we are talking about episode 16, Paradise Lost. It's a tale of two brothers, amazing fight scenes, as well as the latest news and gossip. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey there, everybody. How are we all doing tonight after that crazy episode?
Trying to wrap my mind around it all.
Oh my God.
So many things.
There's so much Marvel tonight, I can't handle it,
We
you guys.
are Marvel overload. There's so much good stuff to talk about. So let's not waste any more time. Let me introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, Zach Wilson.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. That's Zach Wilson. And I got you guys in the chat.
Joyce Ajouri.
Hey guys, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Ajouri. Watch our reaction, or kind of, to the Doctor Strange trailer.
Oh, it's already gone. We only got half of it.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
I got like 5 seconds on Snapchat.
We'll talk about. We will talk about the trailer.
Yeah.
That's why we're late.
Yeah.
We had to go watch it at the end of the show because
And-
there's
yeah.
so much S.H.I.E.L.D. to talk about.
There's
You
so
guys.
much S.H.I.E.L.D. to talk about.
Hive.
Hi, I'm your host, Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the
didn't mean
Menguin.
that.
That's TGMENGUIN. We are also going to be following along with the hashtag ABTV Marvel. Sadly, our fellow host, Jesse Klein, could not be here tonight. He drew the White Stone. We had to sacrifice him. For the greater good.
I mean,
Declined our invitation.
I'm not gonna say that I cheated, but I am wearing black tonight.
You said together till the end, Zach. You lied. You
said-
lied to
face.
Jesse.
I said
his
no
face.
such thing. I think I was pretty clear that I was gonna worm my
He
way
is
out
on
of
another
that.
planet
Whether-
right now.
Being
Crying.
eaten by being
Yeah, he's
used
re-
by a parasite.
He's really crying because there's no parasite over there, so he's just like holed up in Will's
just
cave,
there.
like, what is happening?
He was like, now what do I do?
It's like, I don't even get any awesome inhuman powers to offset this alien isolation. It's not fair. So, since we're already making jokes about it, let's talk about the meat of the episode, which is the flashbacks that we get with.
For the record, Jesse will be back next week.
No, he's fine, guys. He's fine. He's not hashtag declined. Oh, how dare you? How dare you,
You're
Steve?
welcome, audience.
But he's not dead. He's fine. But yeah, and he'll be joining us next time. But yeah, let's talk about these flashbacks between Gideon and his brother Nathaniel, who this was very interesting. The second we were introduced to Nathaniel, we knew we were going to get a different side of Gideon because we've never seen anybody in his family except for his daughter.
Yeah, I immediately started like, who's Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have any Nathaniels.
We kind of had a feeling this wasn't going to end well, but I'll be honest, I didn't. It wasn't until the pond where I kind of started to see where it was going.
Yeah.
And even then, I didn't expect it to be like a sort of backstabbing situation. I thought it was just, well,
Yeah.
that's ironic, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was interesting seeing this side of Gideon. Like, I wrote down in my notes, and I know this is like maybe being a little too nice, but it was interesting seeing him as like a good dad. Like, he had a daughter who respected him, who he raised the way he wanted to raise her, and she
they
turned
have a-
out
they have a
the way
great
he wanted her to. They had
relationship.
a great relationship, and she seemed to believe in his beliefs, and like,
Yeah.
you know,
That was...
it was
Yeah.
it was good to see that side of him.
Yeah, that was fascinating to me, the distinction of the two separate branches of Hydra, that there's this one religious branch and then the one very much based in science and just conquering the earth. Like forget what we're like, forget our origins. Like, we are in the now is Whitehall's
Yeah.
Hydra.
Which it makes sense that an organization as big as Hydra would fracture into so many different, still be unified under the same umbrella, so to speak, but would be fractured in a sense because lots of people have different beliefs. And when you get a bunch of powerful people in a room together, they're not going to agree. Everybody's going to, people who have had, who are entitled, who have had things handed to them all their lives, they're going to think they're right. So, depending on what your belief is, whether it's in science or whether it's in a crazy tentacle monster, you're going to be set in whatever ways so it was very interesting to see this divide. And it was interesting seeing Whitehall again too. I never thought we'd see him again. And so it was a nice callback. And seeing his relationship too with his brother, the fact that it ended so tragically, and that it happened the way it did because ultimately Gideon didn't want to die, but there was no malice. It's not like he purposely sent his brother off so that he could inherit the family fortune. It was literally, it just came down to the two of them, and he didn't want to die.
Like, it was just pure chance.
That just came down to the two. But again, given the choice, he elected to save himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Which is weird. It adds a different, I guess, level of depth to Gideon, because like before tonight I was like,
standard villain stuff,
like
right?
He's such a villain, like there's nothing about him to me that was like redeeming, and like I know last week he killed somebody, right? But it was not really his choice, like to an extent, but part of me was like, oh, he's just, I felt kind of bad for him then, but tonight I really felt bad for him. I mean, he had some sort of quality to him, like, his relationship with Stephanie, or like his past, we found out more about him. Like tonight I was like, oh, I kind of feel bad for the guy. Like,
it humanized him a lot.
He's going. Yeah, exactly. I didn't like what he was going through tonight, despite what he's done to others.
This entire episode, he's facing two different things. It's the possibility that some remnant of his brother is residing within Hive, and if that's the case, then the knowledge of what he did, basically throwing his brother to the sharks to save his own skin, and then two, the knowledge of his own mortality and how painful and awful it will be. He was anticipating that was going to happen in front of everybody in the inner circle, in front of his daughter. He was expecting to meet his end by the time we got to tonight's episode, and that's not what we got.
Yeah.
I will say I was disappointed because when Stephanie was initially introduced, I was expecting more from her. But at the same time, it is a very Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing to introduce somebody and then to introduce a potential villain or somebody you think is going to be a really big bad villain and then to kill them prematurely.
Well, it made it so devastating because we were all like, theorizing, and I think they knew this going in, that we're like even up until that moment where she falls away, I was like, oh, they're making her into Madam Hydra. This is gonna be crazy.
There she goes.
And then she, like, even when like he starts like putting his
tongue down
killing her.
throat.
You can just say killing her because it's so gross.
His spores into her. That's what he's doing.
It's true.
I thought like, oh, he's making her into.
He's turning her into a believer.
Yeah.
Can
no,
that still
he's
be on
just.
the table?
I mean, if he killed her, I guess technically he could take over her body.
Yeah.
He could reanimate her corpse.
We
yes.
haven't really been clear about his rules yet in terms of creating human thralls, like people he controls. Like they haven't really, they've hinted that he can, but they haven't outright said it.
Yeah.
So until we see it, I think we have to assume that it's not possible.
Like she's just dead right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's dead.
Which sucks because I liked her. There's something about her that because I feel like her belief was so honest.
Yeah.
Like it was so pure to me. Like it wasn't sullied by, she didn't do anything, at least not that we know of.
It's interesting.
She's still in Hydra.
Yeah.
let's not pretend she's blameless or
she's
innocent.
Not innocent at all. She is a member of the one of the most evil organizations on the planet. Let's just be clear.
If I were in Hydra, I'd want to be like Stephanie.
In terms of being smart and ambitious and successful, those aren't inherently evil qualities. but no, I liked her too, mostly because I thought we were going somewhere with this, and we get very early on Hive saying that she has an important role to play in all this. Again, this is when Gideon still thinks that he's going to end up dead, and we had thrown around the theory that maybe his daughter was going to be instrumental in that. But no, the purpose that she served was balancing the scales. as Hive put it. And this also illustrates a very interesting dimension of Hive, because we got a hint of it last episode when he was referring to Grant Ward's experiences as his own experiences.
Yeah.
And we're left guessing throughout the episode whether or not Hive does retain the memories of all the hosts he's inhabited, and he does.
Yeah.
And I do want to give a nod to the scriptwriters and the filmmaker and everybody who was involved in the production for this, because all of that stuff with the rocks and the pond, very, very good stuff. That's really good visual storytelling, so kudos to them on that.
Yeah, visual storytelling in, like, not in the sense of, like, we used big action set pieces or visual effects or anything like that. That was just good storytelling, like giving us a backstory. I liked, like, Whitehall's little appearance. It, like, really set the world. It really helped. Again, this is, like, the good thing when you can pull someone like that into the story naturally, to bring a character back for, like, just a moment. It makes it feel more complete. Like, this is all, forgive me, it's all connected.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, this all works. Even this, like, crazy religious Hydra that I was just like, what?
Well, I guess there are some branches of Hydra. It's kind of like any, like, a national or, like, organization like the Key Club or something like that. There are different chapters, and some chapters like to form barbershop quartets and drink, and other organizations like to have blood sacrifices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
They're all a part of the same organization. I do want to talk to you guys about the tease, because we thought we were going to see Hive fully revealed,
Yeah.
and we kind of did.
They blue balls us.
A little bit, yeah.
Show us Alvy's face.
It was so mean.
I'm calling him Alvy from now on,
I
guys.
like
By the
Alvy.
way, his name
I
is
like
Alvius.
it.
That means that Hive's name is Alvy.
Can we call him that? I like that name.
Oh, I
That's
think
a
we're
really
gonna
cool
call him.
name.
I think we're gonna call him Alvy.
Okay.
I have a feeling, you know how, like, names become trendy when they come out, like with Twilight, like Isabel got really popular. Alvy and Alvius are gonna be so popular this year. I'm calling it. That's my prediction for today. That's a good name.
Okay, so we didn't get to see Alvy's face. And I will say that I was expecting us to eventually cut back and see the reveal, like somebody like thinking about it and like, that was his face. But I will say that even though they didn't show us his face, that scene in particular was done really well. The effects looked really good. And it was, again, if they're not going to show us his face, that was a really good point to cut it off. Not really great and there's also the danger of showing too much, because I know we want to see his face, but at the same time there is a definite good chance of making it too goofy.
I mean, remember how we reacted to Lash when we first saw him?
We laughed. We pointed and laughed.
This, like, I mean, and there's, like, when it first came up, I'm like, oh, this is a little reminiscent of Flash, just because, like, the tentacles
reveal,
coming.
yeah.
Well, the tentacles coming down, but, like, this looked so good. At least this part of it, in terms of, like, what I have always pictured as Hive, like what I know him as from the books. Like, we still have to see the face, and that's gonna be a big part of it. But, like, at least it looks good here.
We got a tweet from Alvin on Twitter. He says, "For the love of me, don't call him Alvy."
I'm sorry, Alvin.
As you wish, Alvin.
His name is Alvy. I'm
We're
sorry.
really
We can't do
sorry.
anything about it.
It's been decided. I'm sorry, Alvin.
Our directors at
Our hands are tied.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's
Our hands are
we
tied.
can't.
Mandate from Sector 7, 8, one of those.
We won't call him Alvin, though. How about
never,
that?
Never.
Just Alvy.
Just Alvy. Oh, I'm sorry, Alvin. Anyway, to get back.
We could call him Veus.
That's too good of a name. Like, that's the
It
thing.
is
It's
really,
like,
it's still cool sounding.
Do you
they
prefer
haven't-
Al or maybe just Dan? Or how about Laddie? Never mind. We could call him Al.
they still haven't said Hive.
Yeah.
I thought they were about to. When Simmons was Simmons and Coulson were talking about like he's a parasite and he's like.
I mean, it's hard. You know, you're right. They haven't referred to him, but in the subtitles,
he houses like the insect or the parasite. So like, I guess whatever body he's in is kind of like the hive.
Yeah, I just mean they haven't said it out loud.
They haven't.
I wonder how
nobody's
come to
called
that.
him Hive to his face. He hasn't said we are called Hive.
I was waiting for Coulson to be like, it's almost like he's a hive.
Yeah.
Like just like when they were starting to introduce Inhumans, they were like, it's something.
I think they maybe would have
inhuman.
face palmed a little bit if they came out with like some corny
I would have
roundabout
loved it.
way to call him
I
Hive.
would have loved it, and I'm still expecting it. They'll do it
it'll
eventually.
come. I think it'll be a lot more like tactical.
Yeah, but again, there's a lot of implications with the fact that he does retain these memories. It has a lot of implications for Grant Ward's reactions to the rest of the team and a possible vendetta against S.H.I.E.L.D. not only poses just a threat to Hive's mission, but if he really does retain those memories and harbor resentment for years and years and years based on those memories, we can bet he's going to want payback.
I love that because that's a I didn't mean to do this, but that's a true hive mind. And not just in like hive, but like the general term of like a hive mind, the way that you think about it is when you incorporate a new person into that brain, those memories and experiences become part of that person. And like
it's like a Borg.
I thought it was so interesting the way that he just bled into like I am Grant Ward or the two of us when he's talking to Gideon.
Like he's all of those people
together to the end, and he just flowed seamlessly into that.
Yeah.
And they are together till the end within Hive.
That's so bizarre.
Like Will's in there too, so
Simmons can be affected.
that
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. Eventually, I have to think Hive's gonna come. Well, she's in the compound now, so I think Hive's gonna have to come face to face with Simmons, and I wonder if
you left me there to die.
Well,
like-
Coulson too. I mean, I didn't stop to think how much this could affect him. Like while watching, like I know he's really traumatized, but like
Yeah.
now
Well,
he's gonna come back.
I say Gemma because I wonder if there's any latent like feelings for Simmons,
Or
like,
unfortunately,
lingering in
maybe
there.
even Daisy. I know
Like
I
Ward.
know that's gonna make the shippers go crazy, but there is potential for latent feelings. Although, let's face it, after Agent 33, Grant Ward hates all of them.
Yeah.
So, like, there's highly doubt that they're gonna yeah, no. I really hope they don't, because also the whole fact that like this thing has her uncle's memories and then straight up like made out with Stephanie as he killed her. That was just, it was so gross.
In fairness, her uncle never knew her.
It doesn't matter.
Why is incest finding its way into literally everything I watch? It's disgusting and it's bothering me.
It's not incest. He is an alien. He is an
borderline
inhuman
incest.
from 4,000 years ago who has taken over the body of not her uncle.
His
like,
memories are there.
You were the one saying
His
you are your
personality
memories.
traits, his personality traits could easily come out. Like they are.
We saw it. It did come out. Ew.
I'm just saying the only thing that like links family is DNA, and he doesn't have any DNA.
I'm saying that doesn't make it better. It's still gross, and I want my TV to stop doing it. The only reason I'm upset by it is because so much of what I've been watching, like, will find a way to sneak that in there over the past like 5 years.
It just seems to be picking up.
It just keeps
It's
cropping
getting weird. All right, you know what, TV writers, chill,
Stop it.
chill, or go see your therapist more. I don't know which one it needs to be. Work on it.
Stop the incest. I don't want to become necessarily a meme where it's a motivational poster with just me saying,
All right.
stop the
All right.
incest.
Let's move on.
But we should move on for sure. So
Yeah,
one of-
like Alvy, Squidward, Hive, whatever you are.
whatever you want to call him.
Nor Zoidberg.
So Gideon still has his inevitable death at Hive's hands. coming. Like, he's already lost his daughter, and he knows this thing is eventually going to kill him. So it's just a matter of, well, am I going to die as a result of his sudden but inevitable betrayal, or am I going to take steps to try to stop this thing that murdered my daughter and my brother?
Ooh. I feel like he has nothing to lose at this point, so possibly the latter. Like, I think he would probably try to stop.
He's like, you're gonna kill me anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Like, if he can't prevent his fate, if he already saw what's gonna happen to him, and his daughter is dead, he doesn't have any more family around. Like, I feel like his belief for his mission is unraveling already. So it's kind of like, what's he got to lose?
He's got to man up, face his fate.
Man up.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to Daisy and Lincoln, because they're tracking down this one Inhuman who was booted out of Afterlife. His name is James, or kind of like a discount Wolverine type guy, who was booted out for like trying to steal from Jia-Ying, and also going on and on about this potential threat coming to Earth, this ancient evil. So, of course, he's the proper person to track down. What did you guys think of James?
Of James?
I don't know. You've been talking about Eden a lot? Is that his name?
Eden Fossey.
Yeah. So when they said, like, Australian dude...
The
like,
Australian set my brain off, too. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, it's not James, though.
Yeah, I know. I knew it wasn't going to be him.
Yeah.
But I want to know what James's powers are.
Well, he doesn't have any
I
right
don't-
now.
I want to know what's inside. Like, I kind of, like... I mean, he was so isolated, right? Like, he's living in the middle of nowhere in South Carolina.
Don't
South
get
Dakota?
many neighbors when you
Don't
have
get many
landmines
neighbors.
all
I don't know if
over
he's
the place.
I don't know if he's up to speed with like the fish oil thing, but like, can you just take some fish oil?
Yeah.
That's the thing is, if he just watched the news.
If he just went to the store and took his vitamins and instead of like planting bombs.
It's not any fish oil, though. Like, to be fair, the ATCU, I feel like, has done a pretty good job of like getting that off the
shelves. Yeah, that's very true. I'm sure as soon as they found out what was the cause, there was a massive recall and everything like that. But still, you would think that some of that stuff ended up on the black market.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, as far as I could tell, this character is just like a random like reference to like a nothing comic book character, but like they're like, I found like James Larner. He's a MI6 demolitions agent who appeared in like 2 issues of Master of Kung Fu.
What was his thing though? What was his deal?
Nothing. He's just like a guy.
He's just like,
Because
He's a
he never went
demolitions
through
expert.
the transition.
he's just a random guy.
He's just kind of like...
I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. does that. S.H.I.E.L.D. gives nods to
Yeah,
characters
it's
that otherwise don't get
why not?
spotlight.
Like, I'm sure that the script coordinator on this show has a list of like, these are all the insignificant characters from Marvel. If we ever just need to throw a name in there, just pick one off this list because it's an established person. So it's gonna clear because it's already a pre-established like character, and like then it gets to be a nod to the one person who caught it without going onto Wikipedia.
Yeah, he could have been anybody, in all honesty, because his main point was to serve 2 functions. One is to present them with the Kree alien orb doodad, and 2 was to establish that Lincoln, again, much as we're coming to find out more and more, isn't necessarily the good guy or Mr. Perfect, as Daisy put him.
He has a very checkered past.
Yeah, even more so than we think. Like,
Yeah.
he almost killed someone, albeit by accident.
Yeah.
But by the way this guy was making it sounded like they got into a fight and he like beat her.
I thought like he was being violent, like physically violent with her, and like killed her, but didn't because he wasn't like strong enough yet. That was the impression I was getting
like
too.
it was right after he got his powers and he
Yeah.
lost his temper and like it went out of control.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Getting into an argument. So again, maybe this is saved better for predictions, but what do you think are the implications of this Kree artifact? Because
Yeah, I barely. There's so much left, so I almost didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's possible that it's something that could neutralize Hive. It's also possible that, I don't know, maybe it's to help give the Inhumans that are already there a power boost. For whatever it is, it sounds like it's something meant to combat Hive.
Yeah, which I think he might, he'll catch wind of it being around, and he'll probably try to take it away from them, and it'll put them in danger.
I'm sure he remembers it.
But also, how did James know to keep that thing in the fridge?
I think it's just like, he's like, no one's gonna look for it in the vegetable drawer.
What if putting it in the fridge totally destroyed?
Like, what was he keeping? Was that in like a coffee?
It was like a tin. It was like a popcorn tin or something.
I think when you're like turning a place upside down, like the fridge is just not a place you generally look. I don't know. Keep it cold. Keep it.
I like to think the bombs would keep everyone out of his house.
Maybe just all of his other drawers weren't big enough for that.
Maybe.
I'll be honest. Like, I know it's supposed to be connected to Inhumans, and so Kree and all that. There was this moment where like it opened up and it looked, the lines, the way the lines were, looked just like the window from the Doctor Strange posters that they just put out.
Oh.
And from like the Eye of Agamotto designs like that we've seen so far. It set me. I was like, are they really doing it? No, and then it's like, it's Kree.
Although,
it's Kree.
it does look very Kree, though. From everything that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy, it looks very
That's what
Kree.
I thought of. I thought of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and it absolutely does make sense that it would be a weapon to control Hive, because the Kree are very intelligent. If they create a warrior race, they're going to put in a safe stop,
like a contingency plan.
Failsafe. Thank you.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, in our theorizing at least, that makes two, if that's what this is, because we're seeing Lash as the failsafe Lash is now born into the world because Hive is coming back. If the Inhuman pathogen's the wrong word, but the
intelligent design thing that we keep
whatever
falling back on.
intelligent design is, if it's that powerful, it very well might be smart enough to like create it when they just like it's coming. I mean, if it can create a guy who can see the future, who knows what it's capable of.
What's concerning, or disconcerting, I suppose, is that what if this orb is a kill switch and not like a failsafe of like, oh, this will neutralize him, because he's meant to command the Inhuman army for the Kree. That is his function. What if this orb is set to kill off like a number of like all of the Inhumans that he's currently controlling, to just wipe them all off?
I feel like it wouldn't make sense if it only targeted like those.
Could deactivate
people.
Inhumans, though.
It could deactivate all of them.
It could neutralize powers. Or maybe it's just an explosion. Maybe what we see in Daisy's vision is them trying to avoid a massive explosion on Earth caused by this orb that was just being kept in a refrigerator for years.
He is a demolitions expert. I think the putting in the fridge makes sense, because even with like explosives, you do want to keep them cool.
Maybe he's just like Jiaying kept it in her fridge. Maybe I should keep it in mine.
Oh, maybe.
That's a good point.
We don't know how she had her office arranged. Oh.
He's like, I'm gonna steal a sandwich from her, and then like while I'm in here,
He was really hungry when he decided to steal all her stuff.
And also kind of ADD.
Very easily distracted. But anyway, do we have any other thoughts on on Daisy and Lincoln's adventure?
Well, I mean, we got to talk about his revelation, right?
Yes.
Like the drunk driving thing.
We did touch on that. But another thing to kind of touch on is the fact that all Inhumans, not just people like Lash, but apparently all Inhumans feel this sort of emptiness.
Yeah.
That there is something missing in their lives, and they all have to kind of mitigate that in some way. And I think that maybe Hive was always meant to be that missing piece, at least from the sound of it.
Well, we learn that he's he was designed to lead this army.
Yeah,
Right?
Alvy. Good old Alvy.
Yeah, General Alvy. And on that, to me, that's fascinating. That like they decide, like they pick this one specific Inhuman. Like, you will lead all the Inhumans, and then the story is that the Inhumans had to. I guess he just became like a crazy ruler.
I mean, probably went mad with power, drank his own Kool-Aid.
Yeah, the Inhumans had to band together with
humans.
regular humans to stop him.
Well, and we keep getting pieces of this legend, and I'm wondering if, when it was prophesized that he would come back, if like the way it is foretold to stop him is Inhumans partnering with humans again, which
thus the Secret Warriors.
It's kind of happening right now.
It's happening.
Oh man.
Is there anything else we want to touch on before we take a quick break?
No, we don't barely have time
I mean,
to do that.
other than Daisy just told Lincoln that she saw, someone on the team die. I know we mentioned that it could be like her vision of what we think is Yo-Yo in the ship in the universe.
It looks like Yo-Yo because the necklace is there, but that's too easy.
Yeah.
But also no one might be dead, and she might just be misinterpreting what she saw, which we know happens.
Or could be somebody that we don't care about dies.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's just a death.
Yeah.
It could have, for all we know, she's seeing Hive's death.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's what it is, but that's a possibility.
But it sounds like she knows for sure it's definitely somebody on the team.
Yeah.
But before we continue on, we gotta talk to you guys really quickly about iTunes, because you guys are just the best. Honestly, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. AfterBuzz fans are the best fans.
Wow, there's so many.
And we love hearing from you guys. We love going to iTunes to see what you guys have to say about the show. It is the best way to hear to show our producers that you guys like the show that we're putting on, and it is also a really good thing that guests and people at Marvel actually do pay attention to, as we've seen before. So it really means the world to us when you guys go to iTunes to rate and leave a comment, and when you do, you'll even get a shout out on the show.
I'm gonna blow through these real quick because there's so many. You guys are awesome. Jula Bell, MN. Interesting podcast. This is a really fun and insightful podcast to listen to if you are a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Artist / mother / Marvel nerd. I watch you guys every Wednesday morning. It's the East Coast girl.
Cool.
That's fine. I know it's late.
It's super late.
It's fine.
Thank you to everybody who's watching on the live chat, BTW.
You're all amazing. For someone who used to have to have time to read comics, but no longer, I really appreciate listening and watching you all, getting the extra insight. Thank you. Guppy66 makes my day. Caroline N says, I'm doing it for the people. Let's get them to 600. The singing was hilarious, but not good enough to do it another time.
No.
Too bad.
No.
It's gonna happen. I think we're gonna revise it so that it's gonna happen.
I'm trolling.
Whether we do it on the air or off the air is in your hands.
Yep.
So keep writing in. So whether you want it or not, keep writing in, because we don't want to discourage anyone.
Think of me.
Please, thank you.
We're trying to find a way to make everybody happy.
Because we're at 553 right now. 554 right now. That's nuts. It's nuts, you guys.
That is insane.
Let's see. So yummy. Great podcast for a great show. Mongoose Dude says great hosts. Lefty T, the best AfterBuzz TV podcast. Mr. Nice Guy 80, please, oh God, please, I offer you a review to satisfy the podcast gods that we will not have to endure another choral concert. Garen 88, spectacular AfterShow. Ciao from Italy. Hi, Italy.
Hi, Italy. We love our international fans. You guys are awesome.
The Big Red Axe writes in, Mac, how dare you cheat on me with that poor excuse for a blade? You will regret this. The Big Red Axe is on the wall.
I love it.
I am so interested in the lore that is being presented in our iTunes comments
TD
section.
Yanks 23 says a review for Avoidance. Another person who just does not want us to sing.
Please don't.
Oh, it's gonna be fun when it happens. And then last but not least,
Of course.
Phil Coulson's left hand says, I've been a little busy this week, so you don't mind if I take some time to write letters, right? First, to Mac the Axe, or Max Axe, I forget exactly what it was, sue me. How dare you for both the extremely rude and hurtful comments you've said about me and the fact that, oh yeah, you chopped me off. That was the most dramatic moment of my life. Besides having to watch Phil kiss Rosalind, ugh, you better explain yourself or I'll come into Phil's office and punch you myself. Second, to the showrunners, writers of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, I demand more time on screen. I was in like one scene, and since then you had me on call literally every day. Being a method actor, I stay in a glass box, but I haven't been let out. Expect a call from my lawyer. Phew.
Phil Coulson's left hand isn't gonna like those glamour shots of the robot hand.
I'm glad I could get that off my thumb. Palm? What's the equivalent of a chest? Probably palm, right? Forget about it. Thank you, Phil Coulson's left hand. Thank you.
These are brilliant.
I don't know what to say.
I hope Phil Coulson's left hand is saving or screenshotting all of their comments, and I hope you're doing the same.
I want it chronicled I want it in chronological order. I want a compendium by the time Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comes to an end.
We need a scrapbook, a compendium, any of that.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the episode.
Let's get back to it. So the next thing we have to talk about is really kind of this hunt for Guerra, actually. I mean, because they spend a good portion of like tracking down different shell companies, basically checking off the supervillain cliche list that Hydra is doing, looking for more things. And one of the things that they find is these experiments with all these moths and birds.
Like aviary creatures.
I bet my guess, and we'll have to see whether or not this pans out, is that this was the science side of Hydra trying to find a way to combat Hive or to neutralize Hive with science. I don't know. That's just a thought.
They blinded Hive with science?
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
I think we might have a song option.
Stop encouraging people.
So
Enough with the incentives.
So the fact that this is a factor is very interesting, especially because Simmons is the one that sort of is connecting the dots, looking at the Hive pathogen and looking at these experiments. So I think if anybody has a chance of destroying Hive with science, it's going to be her.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Like they're going for the science route. Try to cut off especially if he does start to get thralls or whatever. Oh, this is an interesting thought. So if Hive has kept, we don't necessarily want them to do this, but if Hive has kept the Ward body alive now and has brought it like fully back to life effectively, if they kill Hive with whatever that virus is, does that bring Ward back?
It could potentially save Ward.
I don't want them to do that for the record. I'm just
like,
seeing the possibility now.
I wonder, to me that doesn't make too much sense, because like Ward was dead before Hive took over.
But he's essentially been reanimated.
Right, but only because he's the host of the parasite.
We don't know whether all of the internal stuff is working as a regular live body should.
I can't think that it does, given the fact that Hive just like peeled back Ward's face and head to reveal like his actual form.
That's a good point.
Because he literally peeled away his face.
But we don't know whether or not like everything on a microscopic level will go back to normal.
I mean, we know he can go back to being Ward.
He can change his form whenever he wants.
True.
So
just like most like things on S.H.I.E.L.D. is like, yes, the comic book character would always look like that. Yeah. But we can't do that.
We can't do that from a budgetary perspective. And I don't want them to do that either, because again, I really, really liked Ward being dead.
I feel like he's been brought back once already. Like if Hive gets destroyed, bringing Ward again would kind of be like, where are you going with him now?
But if he remains alive, it could still very well destroy him, because we don't know the psychological effects of having been this creature's host, because no one's lived to tell the tale.
Right.
So he might, even though he might live, he might be it might still destroy him as a person.
I guess that's a good way to, I don't know, like, what does it give us the answer to know that, like, Will is no longer, even though the host has left Will? The host left Will, right?
Oh yeah, no, Will is a fiery skeleton man.
Like, he's done for.
Yeah, no, but this is different because Hive didn't have anybody to feed off of when he inhabited Will.
That's true.
He's back up to full speed.
Yeah, his powers are back in full force.
Speaking of Will, I like the idea of Simmons being the one to, like, figure out the science to combat Hive, because it brings back to what we were saying earlier about how, like, Will's memories and, like, Will's personality can come out, and that can totally affect how she puts forth, like, that.
Let's not
cure,
forget, she ran from this thing for months, trying to stay alive. This is the thing that haunted her dreams and her waking hours for months.
So we've got three people haunted by this thing. We've got Gideon, Coulson, and potentially Simmons.
Do you guys think that Gideon will come around to S.H.I.E.L.D's side?
To save himself?
To save himself?
I think he knows he can't be saved. He knows how he's going to die, but I think he might come around to S.H.I.E.L.D. to be like, this, I have nothing left to lose now. This thing killed my daughter, it killed my brother. It's going to kill me. I want to help you take it down. If I have to die, I want to take this thing down with me.
Like he said, he doesn't want to go a coward. This episode.
And he's believed in a false god his whole life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like I feel like hearing the story that, like, this god they worship, and like if he hears the truth, like, he was built by the Kree. Like your god was built by an alien race.
Your god was just some guy at one point who went through the Terrigen Mist, became a slug man, and then just happened to have this just happens to be his awful curse ability thing, and he went mad with power.
Yeah.
And now he's been living off of Malik's scraps, the Malik family's scraps, for years and years and years. So anyway, but one thing we should probably touch on is a little bit more of the stuff with Guerra, because they capture him with this epic fight scene with May.
Oh, you mean Iron Chef versus Mulan?
Yeah. Oh my
God.
Like, that's how I'm reading this fight, and I'm like, this is amazing.
I think in real life, oh my gosh, the actor's name escapes me, but the Iron Chef guy, I think he actually is a martial artist.
Oh yeah,
he would have to be.
I feel like I read that somewhere, but anyway, I think just like oh my gosh, her name escapes me too. May.
Oh, Ming-Na?
Ming-Na. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But just like her, I think he's very well trained in the martial arts.
Yeah, no, and they put on a heck of a show with this fight.
Yeah.
It was pretty fantastic. And it was downright terrifying when he found a way to get out of that power containment room and actually actively hijack the ship. Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was terrifying.
I want to be a writer in that room and be like, he could totally control the plane.
The one thing that I will say about his power, they established, okay, he can control any inorganic matter. Clothes, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he could have made May a rag doll. Like, all he has to do is, like, throw the clothes that she's
humiliating.
I don't know. Maybe he has standards, or maybe the fabric isn't strong enough for that. Like, he's tried it before, and then just people's, like, shirts or sleeves rip and stuff like that, and he's like, well, that didn't plan. That didn't go out.
He could make Coulson punch himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an awesome twist when Coulson goes, and if you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
So see, Coulson's left hand. Coulson's left hand, if you were there, he would have had him.
Mark DeCascos.
Coulson would have had.
Thank you.
He would.
Thank you, Stephen.
He would have had Guerra if only Coulson's left hand was there.
Well, yeah. Lots of regrets this episode. You know, Coulson has to live with his guilt and and also the fact that he doesn't have a hand anymore. Yeah. But yeah, no, a lot of good
love
stuff.
that stuff though when he's like clenching his fist and like the
The circuitry.
Yeah, that was cool.
No, that was really good, and I did like the heart to heart he had with Fitz. Just the fact that he kept like telling himself we do what we have to do as a way to justify it, but it was 100% revenge.
Yeah.
And because he chose to take revenge, this has literally come back to haunt them.
Like May said, he enjoyed this. This is the one kill that he actually wanted to do and actually enjoyed doing.
And now the consequences are staring him in the face and have potentially doomed the rest of the team, if not for the secret warriors coming to the rescue.
We do have somebody in the chat like clarifying like that he can. This is interesting because I thought he was a metal bender.
That's what
basically.
I thought too.
But this episode they established that he could only be. It was anything in his field. Anyway, we don't have time. We have like 5 minutes left, and we still have
I
so
agree.
much
I thought it was strictly metal, which would make sense why having him in the middle of the ship makes is terrible, but also why he wouldn't be able to control clothes or shoes and things like that.
Yeah.
Anywho, we need to wrap it up because there's some news to talk about today. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about with this episode?
No, that was pretty much. That covers
just
it. I mean, we have tons of stuff, but we'll get to that in predictions. Let's do news and gossip.
All right, let's talk AfterBuzz TV news.
There's a few interesting stories. Like we only have time to cover a little bit, but the ones that pertain to the TV universe, especially, Kevin Feige has been doing a bunch of interviews in leading up to the Captain America premiere, which was tonight. So jealous of anyone who was there. I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you. We know people who have seen it.
Where were our tickets, Marvel?
Yeah, where was our invite to the premiere?
Anyway, Kevin Feige was asked about crossovers between the TV universe and the cinematic universe. Well, it's all cinematic. Anyway, in the films, and he didn't say never, but he more or less said never.
Oh.
Like he basically was like, when the time is right. Like he was like, he's saying he's open to it, but like there's no plans for it happening anytime soon.
I feel like
I
they're
saw
so
an article
far into planning for the future of the universe. That
yeah. Well, that was what the main thing he was
It's gonna be
saying
hard
is
to
that
fit
it's
in.
difficult because TV shows need to be planned out,
Yeah.
but movies also need to be planned out years in advance, and it's hard to make the two bend to each other. That's what S.H.I.E.L.D. does. But S.H.I.E.L.D. is basically reacting more or less to what they see on the film and finding ways to slide in there. And I'm sure that S.H.I.E.L.D. will find ways to react to Civil War, but Civil War is not reacting to S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's unfortunate, but at least they're considering it.
And granted, I would need to double check articles to substantiate this, but I remember seeing articles that estimate that when we get to Infinity, the Infinity War, that those movies are going to have up to 68 characters in them. Like characters. So whether or not that means pulling from the TV universe, whether that number was complete BS.
I did a list at one point. I talked about it on Marvel Movie News, like where I went through all of the established characters and only got to 62.
Yeah, so we're still missing a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still time, Wolverine.
And that was including people like Aunt May and Mary Jane Watson, just in case I still didn't get to 68.
All right.
Anyway, the other big news. What was the other big news? Not the trailer. There was something else.
I've just been thinking about the premiere.
Yeah.
There's so much, but the trailer.
The trailer.
Trailer. Let's talk Doctor Strange.
We don't have much time, but oh my god.
It was like
what?
Well, looking at the beauty of the Thor movies through a kaleidoscope. Like that's how gorgeous the effects in this trailer were.
It does look stunning.
It's like, I think at one point you said Inception, kaleidoscope was what I kept thinking.
You've got the world that it looks like it's folding in on itself. I mean, I can't wait to see what kind of
should
context.
We have said spoilers, by the way, for anybody who hasn't seen this trailer?
It's a trailer. Go watch. If you're worried, pause this.
Yeah.
Go watch the trailer.
Go watch
It's
it.
a trailer. It's not a movie. There's no spoiler alerts for trailers.
I mean, Tilda Swinton.
Tilda
Swinton looked amazing in this movie.
I just everything look, I'm not going to pretend to be a Marvel expert. That's Matt Key. But like everything I know about the character, like him laying in the hospital bed, running through the streets, that beard, like where he looks ragged, and then like the I'm sorry, I have to call it a Force ghost because like I know it's not, but like it is a Force ghost.
The ghost of Doctor Strange, yeah.
But him like stepping out of his body, like the what would the
Out of body.
Astral projecting.
Thank you. The astral projection of Doctor Strange. Oh my God, this is just like, because they know what this is. This isn't like a superhero who uses magic. They know what Doctor Strange is, clearly.
Yeah, and for people who like people who like me who know who Doctor Strange is, but only know him in the periphery of knowing him, how he relates to people like Spider-Man or to the Avengers and things like that, as somebody kind of on the outskirts, this is a really good way to be introduced to him.
That's kind of the position I'm in. I mean, I know him from the Infinity Gauntlet, and that's where I'm most familiar with him, and I love his character in that book.
The most I know about him was from the Dormammu stuff in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. So I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. But it looks really good. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be great. I'm still
great.
a little bummed they didn't choose to vary their casting a little bit, but he's a great actor, and he definitely and the costumes.
In terms of Doctor Strange?
Yeah, because I think he's supposed to be from the Middle East or something.
No,
he's just some guy.
Well, he's a doctor. He's like a surgeon. He's like I think he's American in the books. I'm not
going to pretend to know.
But no, he's like a surgeon. Anyway, regardless,
neither here nor there. Point is, everything in this trailer looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see for more.
Yeah, and if you want more about Doctor Strange, tune into Marvel Movie News, which will be on the Popcorn Talk Network, our sister network, where the voice of Doom and mostly Matt Key will absolutely be going off the rails. Matt Key is our Doctor Strange clone, if you're not familiar.
Really?
He looks like Doctor Strange, loves Doctor Strange, knows the character inside and out. Trust me, you're going to want to be there.
No coincidence he looks
we're doing
like
a
Doctor Strange.
double episode. We're doing an extra long episode so that they have time to get into this. And I'll be in the booth running that show.
It sounds like you guys are in good hands.
The bit of news that was important to S.H.I.E.L.D. that I wanted to talk about really quick was the Inhumans movie is potentially getting pushed back. And there's rumors of cancellation a little while ago. Then Disney announced that Indiana Jones 5 was going to come out like 2 weeks within the release date that was scheduled for Inhumans. And Disney's not going to stack tent poles on top of each other like that. So Kevin Feige was asked about it, and he said that they are likely going to push Inhumans. They don't know to when. And it hasn't been decided yet.
And nothing's been set in stone.
I still think just take it off of the movies. Inhumans on TV, on like a Netflix style Inhuman Game of Thrones is all I'm saying. Royal family.
But the big screen, Zach.
But you could do so much more. Like all I'm saying is Game of Thrones, inner politics of the royal family of Inhumans with Medusa crazy hair and Black Bolt shouting. I want it.
It sounds really epic.
I want it.
When you say it out loud, I'm like, hell yeah.
When you think it sounds insane. But
when you say it,
coupled with your enthusiasm.
I guess it's the other way. When you say it sounds
crazy.
nuts. Stop. Think about it.
Stop thinking your crazy thoughts, Zach.
It may never happen because Feige loves the Inhumans, and I think, and he and Perlmutter, who's in charge of the TV division, do not get along.
Don't see eye to eye necessarily. Well, and again, the whole fate of ABC Studios is still sort of up in the air because of management changes that happened recently. Everything. Something we didn't mention: Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger's not. There's so much to talk about.
Cloak and Dagger. That show was announced. Anyway, we don't have time to really go into that, but that's something that
on
happened.
Freeform. So it's going to be a young adult style show, presumably within the MCU.
Cool.
Cloak and Dagger.
Stuff and things, guys, and things and stuff. Okay, we got to do some rapid fire predictions and then get out of here so everyone can go home.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so next episode, Secret Warriors, but there's a traitor amongst us.
They're built there. They want us to think it's Lincoln. I don't know.
I'd
who
be
it's gonna
heartbroken if it was Joey. Oh, I'd be sad.
I thought from the
heartbroken
beginning he
too.
was. I mean, I still think it could be him.
I think so too.
Because I think I said that early on that I think he could fill either the Hellfire role from the books or the Druid role.
Yeah.
And if somebody's going to betray them, well, the betrayal is Hellfire's story. So,
Well, and it could
it could be Lincoln. Lincoln's following Hellfire's path. He's dating Daisy, and they're
the other thing is that one of the new recruits could actually already be infected by Hive, but nobody knows about it yet. So that's what I'm anticipating is the betrayal, is that it turns out one of them is actually currently infected.
So it's not really in their control.
Yeah, that's my thought, but I don't have really a whole lot to back that up.
Because he can't control Inhumans.
Yes, he can. I mean,
Can he?
They're
Or he
being
pacifies them or something.
He turns them into true believers. Again,
Yeah.
it hasn't been clearly defined, but I'm thinking it's mind control.
He controls them one way or another.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that he got to one of them, and that against their will, they will be the traitor.
Yeah.
This is going to be a blast.
I think you all have
of the
valid
last,
points.
Like 6 episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be so much fun.
It's gonna be so good.
All right, guys, that just about wraps it up for tonight. Anything else before we got it?
No.
All right.
No.
Well, again, thank you so much to everybody who tuned in to watch. Thank you to everybody who's rated and left a comment. Remember, get us to 600 whether you want us to sing or not. We promise we have something for everybody.
If you get us to 600, we won't show it on the air.
We are going to sing, but yeah, but we will do it separately if we pass 600. If not, you guys are gonna see it.
What are you trying to do to my online presence?
And blinded me with science. Maybe that's what we'll run with. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and everybody who stayed up late.
Yeah.
Zach, where can people go if they want to keep up with you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Please go to my YouTube page, that's Zach Wilson, THATZACHWILSON, and hit me with a subscribe. I'm trying to get 2,000 subscribers in 2016. That's my goal for the year.
It's got some good stuff.
And I'm also on a whole bunch of shows here, including the Daredevil panel, where Jesse will be joining me along with the rest of the panel Wednesday night at 11 p.m. to talk about episodes 11 and 12. And then next week we're finally going to be able to watch the finale. Oh my God, I can't. I'm so tense, but I haven't been spoiled yet. I'm so excited. And also as the voice of Doom on Marvel Movie News on Popcorn Talk.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, I don't know how I could follow that.
No.
All I can say is you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Joyce Ajouri. I've got some behind-the-scenes snaps of us here on the panel, and I'll see you guys next week.
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Be sure to also follow Jessie Klein on Twitter at JessKlein1. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We will see you all next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Together till the end.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.